Hi, this is Lee, and this is a video of me painting Fallen Angels minions from board game Massive Darkness 2 by Simon Games. This type of enemy comes with the leader and the minion, and I'm going to paint the minion. Paint the leader as a test because I wasn't sure how to paint the wings, and I actually spent quite a long time on the leader, and I actually literally paint the wings, and then I realized I don't need to do that, and I can just dry brush the entire wing part because the miniature itself, the sculpture is great, and then the miniature does capture all the details. So for a part like this, dry brush will just do the trick, and it will be quick and it will be high contrasted, so I'll just give you a better result in short time. And speaking of dry brush, this is the dry brush I'm going to use. It's kind of broken already. This one is a small size from Artist Ops, and just give me a second. I'm going to show you what a regular fine small size dry brush looks like. Right, so that's what it was. That's a fine mint small dry brush looks like, and this is my it just been, how long it's been? It's been like almost 3 years, I think. I've been using this brush, and I've been using it quite violently, and it's fine. It's kind of broken, but still usable. Right, and all the paints I used in this video are still Citadel base paints. Crux white, Morphistone red, Everland sunset, Markridge blue, Abandon black, Morphin brown. My Crux white is even stoned, so it's fine. Still usable. Like I said, still usable. It's not dry brush paints, but you can still use it for dry brush. The only thing you need to do, just make sure there's not much water inside. You can test it before you paint it on your skin or your nails, or if you have a tissue paper or whatever. Try to avoid any reflections on the paints, because that just means you have too much water in it. And then just slightly dry brush on the wings. When you do dry brushing, it is also important, just don't, for this case, don't make flat white. You do want to make the white different. Like there is a bright white, there is a less white bit, and there is a gray bit, there is a black bit. You do have to need this gradient to show the variations of this color. You don't want full white. And to do this, you just need a focus point. And for this miniature, it's gonna be on, well, to me, it's gonna be on the top of wings, so the tip bit of the bone structure. That's where my most highlights, as you can probably see, that's the most white bit of the entire wing. Same on the other side. It's this on the bone structure. That's the top of the wings, and that's where its most white part is. Backside, because it's backside, it's when you paint a miniature. Well, when I paint a miniature, I tend to just focus on the front side, because that's where my focus is. That's where I see this miniature most of the time, unless this miniature is looking backwards. That'll be a different case, but most of the time I focus on the front bit, and that's where the most variations, most highlights, shadows gonna be. On the back side, it's the it's the back side. That's where the most shadows be, and I tend to do the back side of the miniature darker than the front side. And for this case, I did paint the wings darker than the front side, but still, you still need a little bit variations, but it's gonna be darker than the front side, so you get what I mean. This entire wing process took me about 5 minutes or so. This entire painting job cost me 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes probably. I did talk a lot in the recording, so as a speed painting, and then I've applied the same technique for all 5 of the Fallen Angel minions, because the first one was still a test and was a bit slow, but it's a 20 minutes quick speed painting job, and the result well, I'm totally fine with the result, and I like it. The whole color scheme, of course, is referencing the Big Child Creative's official paint work for the board game, and they are amazing, talented artists, and it's just my cheap mimic of their official job, of course. Right, so I think that's pretty much me done for the wings. I'm still trying to highlight the top bit of the wings where the most white goes. I'm trying to highlight the backside as well, but I think I don't think I did much. I'm just trying to enhance the contrast. And that's also why I like to use black primer, because you can kind of cheat. There's tons of areas you can reach, and the shadow areas you can just leave it on the primer. It's black already. Right, I think that's me done with the wings. So that's all 5 of them, all using the same technique, all cost about 5 minutes each, maybe even less, to be honest. It depends on the speed of your painting, and then the paints on your brush. It all varies, but around 5 minutes. It's quite quick paint job. And that's me done the testing. This is I'm not sure that was the one I was painting earlier, but I've done all other 5 minions by this time already. So it was a test of how do I approach the final result in a most efficient way. Like I said, the wings 5 minutes, the skin and the robes about 5 minutes, the swords about 5 minutes, and then there's a final 5 minutes to rendering the red lights, and then to fix some small issues, if you may say that. So for the skin, this is a fallen angel, so I would assume the skin color would be more dark and dead-ish. So it's white plus Corax white plus Morphin brown, and then apply a little bit black, and then just try to balance out. It'll be like a kind of skin of, I don't know, dead people, but then it's not fully dead. You do need a little bit live color. You do need a little bit brown inside, but most of those are a bit black grayish colors. It's kind of between dark gray and a regular skin tone color. And because of the final result, I'm going to rendering the red lights from the right side, and so I didn't fully paint the right arm, and also the concept art of this miniature is showing he's got this mutated skin, and then the hands and to the armpit is a little bit black, so I also left the left hand with black, and then apply a little bit of highlights on the chest, on the shoulder bit, just regular skin painting things, and again that's why I like bright black primer, because the shadows are all there already. You do need to enhance the shadows if you overpainted some colors. You do need to enhance that, like manually. I was doing that using I'm not sure if I was using black. I think I was using pure black to do that. Just enhance the shadow area to pop up the result and to enhance the whole contrast. And then to his head, face, or helmet, or mask, or whatever this creepy thing is. Again, because of the reference of this is entirely copying Big Child Creative's artwork. So his face is in this very edged, sharp, stone-ish face mask or whatever. So it's been separated into different areas already, and then by just looking at Big Child Creative's painting job, it just the top bit is highlighted. So I used white plus a little bit blue. You can use pure white, but that'll make this the most brighted area of the entire miniature. So I tend to add a little bit other color for this one. I add a little bit blue, but I don't think you can tell that, but I did add a little bit blue. And then there is each highlighting on the right on the edge. If you paint this each highlighting a little bit too much, just change to black and then cover some of the paints. And again, because I'm going to rendering the red lights from the right side, so I was painting red on this right side of the face already. No need to be like too bright, because this is well, let's say it's far from the swords and also the imaginary lighting source. Then to the hair structure is pretty straightforward. It's one big chunk of hair on the right side, and then there's just hair on the back side, and then there's a slight little bit more on the left side, and you can see from the front. And I do believe this just stops on like top of the head, because it's wearing this face mask, or if it's a stone actually by the power corrupted this angel. I have no idea. Anyway, it's got this creepy stone-ish face mask anyway. And then adding a little bit white to highlight this hair. So yeah, all colors are just base paints. There's no different colors. So I'm using red, yellow, blue, white, black, brown. That's 6 colors in total. It's just all base paints. And trying to that's where I'm trying to get the color for the closing. So a little bit blue, a little bit black, a little bit white to get this bluish gray color for the robes, and just focusing on the highlights area. So all the folds, you don't need to really worry about that, because it's on the black primer. That's why I like black primer, because you can cheat. You don't need to worry too much about the shadows, and it's black already. It gives you high contrast already, so you don't need to worry about the highlights bit. And then if you are going to push this miniature further, you can add on other the other colors, like if this color is blue, you do need to fill every single bit with blue and then do the highlight, do the shadows. But if you're just looking for quick speed painting, just leave it black. It's totally fine. And that again, that's why I like black primer. You can cheat on that. So mainly just the front and then the left side of the robes. That's where the highlights area, and the right side is because of the red light. So I just didn't bother paint with any other color. I'm just going to dry brush it with red entirely. So it's again trying to cheat. And a little bit on the back side. It's gonna be weird if you leave this backside entirely in black, just because it's in the shadow area, because even if it's in shadow, the color of this robe is still there. You kind of do need to paint it, unless you just couldn't be bothered, which I wasn't, but I did do this very sketchy. I think I stopped at about here. I'm just trying to apply some edge highlighting, trying to enhance the structure a little bit. I didn't bother to paint the bottom bit of the robe, because it's going to be completely black if it's in the reality, because that's the area where no lights goes in. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it about the robe. And there is a small trinket here. It's a triangle pendant or whatever, and then it's on this red colored string or whatever. You do want to highlight this a little bit because it's the change of this boring color. You do want to make it pop out a little bit more, so I added a little bit yellow to make this line looks brighter, and then highlight the highlighting area with adding a little bit more white. Just yeah, you don't just highlight those areas with one layer of paints. You do it multiple times, and you thin your paints. Yeah, it's just pretty sketchy work. Then the sword, because I was going to do just like Big Charlie Crib's doing, as red lighting source on the right side. So this entire right area is gonna be under this red lighting source, and the lower side of the sword is just gonna be pure red. Not pure red. You do need to make some metal reflections, but because it's under the lighting, it's gonna be just small, less reflected. I highlight the top bit, meaning just adding a little bit yellow, and then paint the red really high saturated color, and then I did added a little bit shadow in the middle of the sword, and because the highlights on the top side is gonna be in the middle, so you want this light and dark contrast to suggest this metal piece. And then for the highlights, just I think I use pure white here. Yeah, I think I use pure white because you have red at the bottom already. You don't really need other colors to make this area interesting. It has enough color already. Outline each highlighting, make sure you get the structure corrected, and then just a matter of rendering, adding a little bit black, get gray color, trying to just smooth this reflection, smooth this gradient out. Yeah, boring work. Standard non-metallic metal way of doing this. Just trying to balancing colors, gradients, trying to render this better. The yellow part, what is the part called? It's not really handled. It's the same before the handle. I don't really know the name of this part. But anyway, there is a small logo on this part. If you can see, be aware of that. And because the red lighting source, I do need to render the lower part of this with red as well. Then adding more white to actually highlight the top bit to make some difference. Again, rendering the sword, just adding more white to highlight the highlight part to make this sword even more shining. More white, I believe. Yes, more white. Just the highlights is always gonna be multiple layered. I think I added bit more black to balance the top bit. Oh no, I did. And again, because of the right lighting source, I did render some light on the upper bit of the sword as well. It's very slight bit of it. I think I overpainted this area a little bit, but it's a sword. It's a quite sharp piece, and you do want your color in their zones. You don't want your color in different zones get out of there where they shouldn't be. So it's quite important to make things straight. Right, here is the final red lighting source render. Again, dry brush. Make sure you don't see much reflections because that means too much water inside. And again, the red is just the set out base paint Morphe Stone red. It's nothing fancy, and I added a little bit yellow to make this red looks brighter, and just dry brush on it. Also the right arm, a little bit on the chin, and then the wings, and then the bottom bit of the robe, and then the side bit. Yeah, it's quite straightforward. Keep adding more red, and on the back side as well. Back side of the sword. More red just to enhance the entire color. Because when you apply red on black primer, it will make it darker than it should be, because it's on the black primer. If you're painting red on white primer, it'll be more pink than what it should be. And if you paint on different primer, it'll be different result. But if you're putting red on black, do it like multiple times, the opacity of the paint will need multiple layers to reach the final result. Then I'm just painting the back side of this golden handle. Yeah, that's pretty much over, and I'm just trying to paint some ropes back because I think I did dry brush red a little bit too much. This is still under control. This is still under 20 minutes, to be honest. Then rendering this gradient on the left arm, and then adding a little bit more shadow. And then yes, I did over dry brush a lot, and then the inside of the arm shouldn't really be covered with red lights, because it's inside, lights doesn't really catch that. Some structures of the chest, and keep highlighting the sword. Yes, it's gonna be more shining. I knew I was going to render that. And a little bit more red on the tip. So that's pretty much done. That's pretty much done. And if you want to push this miniature to a better result, of course you can. You just keep rendering this, keep enhancing the highlights, the shadows, and then render this different colors, like the robe, the shadow area, and then the highlights. Keep adding more colors to give it a more rich color scheme. And there are a lot of things can be improved, but for a dupe and for a Fallen Angel minion, I think that's enough. That's enough. That's 20 minutes, so 6 by 20, that's 1 hour, and wait, that's 2 hours. 2 hours. 6 minions, 2 hours. I think that's all right. That's all right. I can't remember how long I spent on the leader though. The tablet he's holding is taking a little bit more time than I thought. But yes, that's the Fallen Angel, leader, and the minion. I just put that away anyway. I was trying to get the hair brighter because it was too yellow, which a blondie doesn't really have that kind of color of hair. It's always close to white plus a little bit red to that. And I was trying to fix some unpainted area, shadow area, to make sure it's not too much shadow over there. And I think I fixed the backside of the sword as well. Currently it's just red and black, which doesn't really make any sense, so I did add a little bit highlights on the tip of the sword. It's very easy, just white and then gray, and that's it. A little bit more white. There you go. So yeah, that's the back side of the sword. Not your focus point, so very sketchy. Anyway, that's the result. Hopefully this video will be helpful, and hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll probably see you next time, and it's the Fallen Angel Squad.